Welcome to the Real Talk with Megan podcast, where we have candid conversations about the things that matter most. I'm your host, Megan, and we're going to deep dive into the topic of mental health. In a world where we're constantly pressured to perform, achieve, and excel, it's easy to neglect our mental health. But the truth is, mental health is just as important as physical health, and it's time we started treating it as such. Join the conversation as we explore the complexities of mental health issues and speak with experts, advocates, and individuals who have lived through these challenges. Together, we'll work to destigmatize mental health and start conversations. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready for a real and raw conversation about mental health on the Real Talk with Megan podcast. So, disclaimer to start this episode. If you're listening to this around small children, you might want to pop some headphones in. We're going to be discussing a holiday tradition, and I don't want to ruin it for your family. So if you need to pause this and pop some headphones in, please do it now. All right, are we good? All right, here we go. Christmas is coming. It will be here before you know it. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I mean, some people might say I go overboard with Christmas cheer, but it makes me happy and it brings me so much joy. This holiday is also so fun when you have kids because the magic of Christmas is in the air. You get to read the story of Jesus' birth with the whole family, the twinkling of lights, Christmas music, Christmas movies, the gifts, the spirit of Santa that is woven into the season. Maybe you celebrate with Santa, or maybe Saint Nick, or maybe this isn't a tradition that you do as a family. Each of us have our own ways to celebrate in our own families. And for our family, we do celebrate with Santa. I mean, we take our girls every year to Bass Pro at Thanksgiving with our family to celebrate with Santa, and then Santa would always fill up their stockings. But last year was different for our family, unlike we've ever had before, because that was the year that both of our girls knew the secret about Santa. That can be a really tricky conversation to have with your kids and still try to keep the magic and spirit of the season alive. Recently, our youngest started asking questions about whether Santa was real, and we really wanted to give her an answer in the best possible way. One day, as I was scrolling through social media, I saw another mom sharing her story online about how she explained it to her kids, and I knew right then and there that I wanted to do something very similar because it was unlike anything I had seen before. She wrote a letter to her kids explaining about Santa. But I wanted to take it a step further and share the story of Nicholas from centuries ago and how that story developed into Santa as we know it and love today. The letter I wrote will be read at the end of this episode, and if you are in this stage of life and you're struggling with this, how to tell the kids about Santa or just what to do, if you want to email me, I would be more than happy to send this letter to you and you can shape it to fit your family. So, last year, in early December, a letter showed up in our girls' stockings. As a family, we sat down with our girls and I read them this letter. This was such a special moment with our family, and I hope that the girls remember it for the rest of their lives. I think you'll understand why after I read this letter to you, but there was one really funny moment and kind of a relief to us as parents. It was after this sweet moment our youngest asked us if she could now hold our elf. I mean, the elf that has to move around every night, and it can kind of be despised element for parents at Christmas time. Yeah, the elf on the shelf, that one. We told her yes, and she slept with it all night, and she could not have been happier. The spirit of love, joy, hope, and remembering the real reason for the season will always live on and will always be a season and a holiday our family looks forward to every year. So this is a short episode, but here is the letter that I sat down and read to our girls. It says this: Dear girls, this year we wanted to share the story of Christmas with you that you may or may not have heard before. You've asked for a while now if Mommy and Daddy are Santa, and we've given it a lot of careful thought to know just what to say. The answer is no. I'm not Santa, and Daddy is not Santa. No one person is Santa. Yes, we are the ones who wrap the presents under the tree, and we're the ones who fill your stockings the same way our parents did for us. One day, you'll do the same for your children. And then you'll understand how we feel when we get to see the joy on our kids' faces and the magic that fills the air on Christmas morning. Santa is more significant than any one person, and his work has gone on longer than any of us have lived. The story of Santa Claus comes from a real man, Nicholas, who was born during the 3rd century. He lived his life obeying Jesus' word to sell what you own and give the money to the poor. Nicholas used his whole inheritance to help the needy, the sick, and the suffering. He dedicated his life to serving God, and he brought hope to those he encountered. That is where the story of Santa comes from. So now you know the secret of how he gets down all the chimneys in all the houses, even without chimneys, on Christmas Eve. It's with the help of all the peoples whose hearts he's filled with joy and hope. We take turns, just like Daddy and I have with you two. We work together to do a job that otherwise would be impossible. So, no, we're not Santa, but we are on his team, and now you are too. We get to spread love, joy, and hope throughout the Christmas season and really throughout the entire year, just like Nicholas did so long ago by living a life that makes us a little bit more like Jesus every day. We love you and always will, Mommy and Daddy. Thanks for listening to Real Talk with Megan. Remember, you are not alone. Seeking help is a sign of strength, and taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. We'll see you next time for more honest conversations.